Hey guys, welcome back to quick update on Invest 93L, and as you can see, it's not really going to form. We've already had Tropical Storm Eileen, Alberto, which I forgot to do an update for, which I do apologise. And then we did have Invest 92L there, which did look like a tropical cyclone, but in my opinion, I think it was, if it was a tropical cyclone, it would have been a tropical depression at least. But I'll show you Wikipedia actually, the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season on Wikipedia. There are some storms that are meant to try and form in the next couple of weeks from the end of June into the couple of weeks into July. That's when the MJO should be coming back into the Atlantic next couple of weeks. Sorry about background noise, by the way. Anyway, as you can see, this was Tropical Storm Alberto, 50 miles an hour with a pressure of 993 millibars. Basically, it did form near. It basically formed pretty much in the Bay of Campeche and hit Tampico, Mexico. Now, we could have had a rinse and repeat with this storm, but we didn't, which is good news. But this system, it was a 70% chance of forming yesterday. The southwestern Gulf of Mexico, Invest 93L, this organized showers and thunderstorms continue to, in association with a broad area of low pressure located about 90 miles northeast of Tampico, Mexico. Some slight additional development of this system is possible, and a short-lived tropical depression could form before it reaches the coast of northeastern Mexico tonight. Regardless of development, heavy rainfall could cause localized flooding across portions of northeast Mexico and the deep south of Texas during the next day or so. An Air Force Reserve Unit Hurricane Hunter aircraft is currently en route to investigate the system. In the next 2 days, it's going to give them a 40% chance, and in the next 7 days, it's given a 40% chance. So I am not thinking at this form, but as they did state, it could become a short-lived tropical depression before it makes landfall, which I doubt it. If it was going to form, it should have formed yesterday. I would become a potential tropical cyclone or tropical depression or tropical storm yesterday, but I don't think it will form. The environmental conditions have been pretty trash for this system. Ever since it's actually got into the the GFS wanted this to form, but I think the European model did back off a little bit of this forming, but we will have a look at the model and see if there's any more potential storms in the Atlantic for next week. Could have a look, but I probably doubt that there isn't. But if you have a look, let's go and forecast. So I'll show you the La Nina in a minute. This is going to be another La Nina update as well. Give you an update every month about the El Nino or La Nina. It looks like it's weakening a little bit, so I don't know if it's going to be an El Nino or what, but we don't know, I'm not sure. Anyway, main priority is looking at the Atlantic. The high pressure system is still pretty strong, and it's meant to stay like that for pretty much the majority of the hurricane season, apart from like October, November time. Of course, that's when it moves out. But so work at the Atlantic. There is something that should be in the MDR, as I've been looking at in recent model runs, people have been on about. There is something that is meant to be in the MDR, and a little something in the Bay of Campeche as well, which could do something. Maybe it could become a hurricane, but at the same time, I don't think it will, because the Bay Campeche right now is got wind shear, as you can see with the other system. But you see, the high pressure system is still near Bermuda, which this indicates that most of the storms are going to move off towards the west. Last year, the high pressure system was back off over here, so any storms that formed over in the MDR eventually moved out towards the open ocean, like Lee, for example. Lee pushed further west, and then the high pressure system moved back, and then it allowed Lee to move into Atlantic Canada. That's what these systems did this last year. Now, they won't do that this year. They'll probably go into the Gulf of Mexico, or go and hit the southeast coast of the US, like Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida, the Bahamas, and the Gulf states and stuff like that. Yeah, this is the 12C model one isn't out, so I will show you the 6C model one. This is a week. This is like a 3 hour, 6 hour ago model one, but the 12C model one hasn't updated yet, so I'll show you the 6C model one. The 6C model one does want something in the Caribbean. I don't think it will form, but it's probably like a brief tropical depression. But for the Eastern Pacific hasn't had their first named storm yet. As you can see, you do see a little something in the MDR. Look, right there in the MDR, a little something south of the high pressure system. Now, this is what the high pressure system looked like last year. It wasn't as strong and allowed those systems to move further out towards the ocean. Now you can see something that does try and form. See, look in the Bay of Campeche. Look in the Caribbean. You can see something trying to develop in the Caribbean. 1007 millibars, 1003 millibars, 1005, 1006, 1006, 1002 millibars making landfall, and then it actually weakens over the, and then it actually intensifies, but then goes into and makes landfall. I think it's in either Veracruz, Mexico, or Campeche, Mexico, which is a pretty weird track, and then it moves into the Eastern Pacific and actually turns into a tropical storm in the Eastern Pacific. So whether that will become tropical storm Aletta in the Pacific, I'm not quite sure. That's on July 4th, so that's like what, a week out, so it may not happen, but also may happen. You don't know. And that's it really. Something that really does form. And then after that, I think July probably will be pretty quiet. There was some south a little bit. If you have a look near Nicaragua and Honduras, look, a 1006 millibar storm, but it doesn't really do anything. Yeah, it don't really do anything. The high pressure's back up over here, so anything that does try and form will move out towards the open ocean, but this is to be expected. The high pressure will back off will move, and then will move back again. By peak, we'll have a strong high pressure system out here, which should hopefully, well, not hopefully, but will unfortunately bring the storms close to the US. So that's what I was saying about the La Nina and El Nino. Let me quickly show you the El Nino and La Nina. As you saw my update video like 3 months ago, or a couple of months ago or something. You saw that it was down in what, the 0.4, 0.3, minus 0.3 degrees Celsius. Now it is still in neutral, but it did go up a little bit, but it is starting to go back down now. But as you can see, the Atlantic is still popping up. We got a cooler than normal Gulf of Guinea this season, which with the warm sea surface temperatures in the MDR, could hint, because don't forget last year, last hurricane season, we had a cold Gulf of Guinea as well. That's why we had that's why we had those loads and loads of tropical storm development in the MDR. But the Caribbean will be a lot more active this year, and the Gulf of Mexico will be. So it's dangerous. Anyway, this is what the global temperature looks like for this season. Don't forget, this is my 6th season. The 12Z model one has not. The 12Z one hasn't come out yet, so be a bit late. The Pacific is average to slightly below average. The Western Pacific is like 2 degrees above average. The Atlantic's 5 degrees above average, but you can see a little bit of cooling towards the north of Bermuda, which is from the which is from those systems that keep coming off the coast of Mexico. Once those the systems that keep coming off the US East Coast, but as soon as those systems start moving off the US East Coast, that should start warming back up again. La Nina is developing nicely again. Atlantic's what, like 5 degrees above the long-term average. Gulf of Mexico is cooling down a little bit, but just because it's cooling down a little bit doesn't mean that it will stay like that for good. The Arabian Sea is average to slightly slightly below average. The same with the Bay of Bengal, basically, and that's it really. Actually, no, I showed you the wrong one. But, with this one, they have a cooler. A cooler Pacific. But you can see the Atlantic is starting to cool down a little bit, which hints that could possibly start cooling down a little bit more, because you can see over here, look at that cool pattern over there. So could that hint of the season being quiet? We have to keep an eye on that for sure. Don't think it will stay like that, but for sure we have to keep an eye on it, because if you look back in my update videos that I did, you could see that around the Iberian Peninsula, around where Iceland was, UK, Spain, the Canary Islands, and the Cabo Verde Islands, you can see all that was warm. All of this was like red. All this was red. Now it's probably 3 degrees above average still, but the Caribbean is up average to like slightly below average. Same with the Gulf of Mexico on here. So I don't know, but could it mean that both the Pacific and the Atlantic will be both inactive? Which I doubt it, but I doubt the Atlantic will be below average this year. But you can see more of the negative PDO on this one. Yeah, that's the sea surface temperatures, but they are warming up nicely in the Atlantic, which is a bad sign basically. But yeah, the La Nina is starting to strengthen again for sure. But yeah, I wouldn't take this as a pinch of salt though, because regardless of, even if that bit still cools down a little bit on the Gulf of Mexico, you can still get hurricanes just spawning everywhere. So just have to keep an eye on it, but I doubt that it will be inactive for. But yeah. Anyway, that's the update, guys. Just a quick update on the Invest 93L, and yeah. Hope you stay safe. If you were impacted by Arlene, no, by Alberto, I hope you get this. I hope rebuild after if you were impacted by Alberto. But anyway, we have to keep an eye on the Western Caribbean, because the Western Caribbean at this time of year can spawn like 2-3 storms. So keep an eye on the Western Caribbean and even the MDR in late July. And July is known for the MDR to wake up. You saw it in 2020 with Gonzalo, when we had Gonzalo. You saw it with